This tutorial is to get you on the right track when you're starting from scratch. Let's restart. So you will have your fabric go over the smaller inner hoop with about this much space on each side. You definitely want to have that much space because we are going to be pulling. So we will pull and tighten as much as possible till we hear a drum sound when we tap in the middle. So you will see that this takes a little while till you get this result. Now let's get the thread ready. One way to measure is to hold it with your fingers and then pull and cut at the length of your elbow. You can also cut at the length of your shoulder or of your second shoulder. So that will be the max length that is reasonable to work with, and you will find that if you ever cut more than that, you will get knots. Here you can see that the thread is made out of 6 strands, and I am just going to show you how to pull one strand out, which is from pulling just straight up. But if I want to, let's say, use 2 strands or 3 strands, I actually prefer to divide it like this. It does mean that I will have to brush the threads after I'm done pulling them, like so. But if you prefer doing the single strands and then putting them back together, when you pull out a single strand like I showed you at first from the top, you will always prevent knots. So that is a great thing to know in case you prefer that method alone. Next, we will thread the needle. So I'm using this tool, which is called a needle threader. I put it through the eye of the needle, and then I put my thread through the much larger hole that the needle threader has. And there you go. I just wiggle it out, and my thread is in the needle. This is the fastest way, and I just enjoy it the most. Tools are great. Now we are going to knot the thread, and it is just one part of the thread. The other part is going to be loose and much shorter, about 1/4 of the length of the rest of the thread. But this is how I do a knot and then a double knot. So here you can see the other part of the thread, the little tail that is loose and it's not tied up, it's just open-ended right there. So with the knot, you would be ready to start stitching. But now I'm going to show you a way of starting off your thread without a knot. So you basically go in through the back and create this little tail at the back. And now over it, I'm just going to create a little tiny stitch to secure it, like so. Now I will just make a second stitch, and that will be secure. And now I can begin stitching over it. So that's the only caveat with this, is that you have to use this technique only when you're going to be able to stitch over it so as to cover it completely. I'm going to now fast forward and show you the back. So this is how I tie a knot at the back. I usually do a double knot. The needle through, create a loop, and then go through the loop, and I do that twice. Now let's say you don't want to create knots, so pretend I didn't do that, and what I would do instead is simply go through a tight area of stitches twice. And I usually do it in 2 slightly different areas, but here it was quite small. All that's left now is to put your design on your fabric and to actually begin stitching. You are going to have so much fun with this, and if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out.